About a year ago, I had a 90-minute session with a client. They were new. I had just met them in a live stream and we had this like instant connection where I knew that I knew them. And as we were sitting there in our 90-minute session, about 5 minutes till the end, they asked me if I had any questions for them. And I thought that was really strange because I'm like, hey, you're here to ask me questions. I'm not here to ask you questions. And they said, well, I'm being guided to offer you to ask me a question. So after going back and forth on this over and over, I finally was like, hey, do you just have a message for me? And wouldn't you know, she did. See, this person had not yet set down the protections that I teach in my spiritual sessions. And so she had energies that were around her that she was unaware of and hadn't worked with before, but I knew well. And I felt this looming over my back. And I knew exactly which three energies were there: Shiva, Archangel Michael, and Odin. And I knew I was in for an intervention. This lady who had no idea what was going on in my life because I had literally just met her like a couple days before in a live stream, starts to say that the energy that is Odin has a message for me, telling me that I need to stop taking French fries because I deserve the whole meal. My jaw just about dropped because I had been taking French fries from my lover for years. And not just that, I've been taking French fries in friendships, in my family, in all areas, in work type situations before I had gone out on my own for my own business. And that was the only intervention that I ever really needed on that. And from that point on, I knew that I had to start setting better boundaries. And the thing is when you start setting better boundaries, the universe will continue to test those boundaries to see if you really mean it. Yeah, I really do mean it. But you can't just set boundaries. You have to enforce the boundaries too. And enforcing the boundaries is the hardest part. You can yap and yap and yap about your boundaries and why they exist and why they matter and why they're fair and why you deserve them and blah, blah, blah. But if you're not willing to enforce them, they don't mean anything. So I've been through this process with multiple people, and the universe keeps serving me more people, more situations, different levels of situations, just to see how serious I am about my boundaries. I have removed many people from my life, and if those people won't leave, the universe will pluck them out for me. Now, here's some things that I've learned. These people in my life do not respect my boundaries. And they have crossed my boundaries because I have let them. I have let them because I was asked to give them an opportunity to respect them, and they chose not to. And that's their own lessons and their own consequences they get for making those choices. I've been someone that has given, and they have taken and have not shown up in the same way. I did let them take advantage of my energy for a potential lesson. Well, there is definitely a lesson. I don't know if they're learning anything from it, but I certainly am. And that's to my second thing that I have learned, that they really haven't learned. Despite my attempts to teach them and guide them, I've given them lots of time and energy, and they have not learned how to respect me. They've seen my generosity, and they have still yet to figure out how to honor it appropriately. And that's on them. But you know what's on me? If I let it continue. Something else I've learned is that I have been overgiving. And this is something that I knew that I was doing. And I knew I would have to reflect later to see if it was worth the investment or not. I gave without expecting a lot in return because I knew that God was going to return it to me 3, 7, 10-fold in other ways. So when they gave me scraps, I accepted them. I gave them my very best because that is who I am. And they gave me their bare minimum, probably things that they'd complained to others about their entire lives, about how they never get, they're always giving. And then when they're given someone who gives, they give what they've only been shown that they could ever get. Another thing I've learned is that my expectations are not unreasonable. Wanting reciprocal energy is not too much to ask. Desiring for people to show up for you in a similar way, maybe not totally equal, maybe it's more 30-70 sometimes and 50-50 other times, that is not an unreasonable ask. It is not selfish to desire these types of things in relationships. And sure, you can have a relationship with someone for a short period of time where you're just giving and giving and giving, but then you have to move on. Otherwise, you are missing the point. And I'm remembering that the lack of the reciprocal energy is a disrespect towards me. I also learned that they're not even making me a secondary or tertiary priority. I think that we should definitely be putting ourselves first in the ways of like self-care, mental health, things like that, what's good for us. But also, if you really care about people and you really want to keep them around, you'll find a way to make them a secondary or tertiary priority. I've also learned that people are not going to change unless they really want to inside. That means they have to feel this deep level of discomfort by not having you around anymore, or reflection on how it is that they treated you, for them to ever want to actually shift anything inside when it comes between you and their dynamic, your guys' relationship. This often means loss. And the sad part is that when you walk away or you pull your energy back from someone, you can't make it a game. Like you think that they're automatically going to just come back and change. They actually might not. So you have to be okay with that loss when you walk away. You have to be able to walk away knowing that you actually might be walking away for good from this person, and that they might actually be perfectly okay with that because they never loved you, never valued you, never respected you. And if they don't come back, then you actually win in that case. Because if they never valued you, never loved you, and never respected you, then they were just a waste of your time and merely a lesson in your life. People show you who they are through their words and actions. More specifically actions than words, but pay attention to those words because they are very telling, especially when it comes to their consistency. And another thing that I've learned is that their needs and your needs are just as important as each other, even though their needs will be the ones that are being met often, while yours will be neglected by the wayside. Whether your needs are spiritual, emotional, or physical, they all matter. And while it's great to learn things like self-discipline, these self-control things, self-respect, detaching yourself from needing external validation and all of that stuff, right? Learning how to walk alone. Those are all great things to learn. There comes a time when you've learned it, and that's enough. Your peace, your emotional survival is just as important as theirs. Don't let them tell you that their peace is more important than yours. A super important one that I've learned is that they got comfortable with your sacrifice. They got comfortable with your gifts that you were giving them, and they started to expect them. They literally took them for granted, like it was their God-given right to have you around. You were the gift to their life. And yes, they were in a way a gift to yours too, but not so much when they started to abuse it. The more you sacrifice yourself for somebody else, the more that they're going to expect that you're just going to keep doing it. And you'll watch as their words start to change. And instead of thanking you for your patience and thanking you for your understanding and thanking you for being the beautiful human that you are, they will just start to expect it. And maybe even start flipping the script on you, like calling you impatient or needy or anything like that. God forbid they tell you that you're disrupting their peace when you set a boundary. Sometimes people think that you will just always be there because you actually were willing to always be there until they started to make it toxic for you. Some people will try to label that as, you gave up on me, you don't love me, you don't want me around anymore, you lied to me that you were always going to be there. It's like, I'm sorry, but if you're going to keep plunging my head underwater and holding it there where I can't breathe, I'm actually not going to stick around. So thank you. If you cannot honor my basic needs like air for life, how am I even going to be alive to give you any more attention? How am I going to be alive to give you any more love? I'm sorry, my needs have to be met. If those basic needs are not met, I do not sustain myself, which therefore then I am not there for you. So these people keep doing it because they think you'll always be there. And then they don't step up. And that's not love, that's convenience. Another thing I learned is to stop tolerating mediocrity. You are not mediocre. I am not mediocre. Stop accepting it. And finally, sometimes you have to walk away to protect yourselves, or let them walk away so that you are protected. Remember, God will either remove you or remove them. At some point, you have to realize that people are not showing up for you, and then you have to step away. No amount of love or time invested will change people who don't want to show up for you. You've given them enough chances. If they wanted to, they honestly would have by now. And this isn't a capacity issue at this point. This is a they don't want to issue. And so they don't. Protect yourself and prioritize your well-being, even if that means letting go of people, letting them leave. Because if you keep them around, that's just going to take more of your energy that you could be giving out to people that actually do want to reciprocate. And the universe works off of vibration. And if that's the energy that you're sending out, that's the energy that you're going to receive. But give it time. Once you shift, you have to give it time for the energy in the universe to realize, oh, they really aren't going to take those scraps anymore. They do want the whole meal, not just one French fry. If you need help, book with me at pagehook.com. I do not reach out through DMs.